The valet at Le Chateau whisked away my keys with that polished efficiency you'd expect from a high-end spot in Eden Prairie. I adjusted the sleek lines of my midnight blue gown. Bought just for this evening, Dad's 65th birthday bash deserved nothing short of flawless. Tucked under my arm was a custom walnut case holding a rare set of vintage engineering blueprints from Frank Lloyd Wright's early days, something I'd hunted down across auction houses for months. As I stepped inside, the clink of crystal glasses mingled with laughter from over 70 guests, all dressed to impress under the glow of ornate chandeliers. Diamonds sparkled on necks and wrists, catching the light like stars. A surge of quiet pride cut through my anxiety. I'd coordinated this whole thing, double-checking every detail with the event team to make it perfect. "Welcome to Le Chateau," the hostess, barely out of her teens, said with a quick glance from her tablet to my face. Her smile faltered just a touch. "You're at table 12. I blinked, scanning the room for Mom's signature ash blonde bob. "That can't be right. I'm Emily Carter, Richard's daughter." She nodded, unfazed. "Yes. Table 12. Her finger pointed to the far corner, the spillover area near the restrooms, where distant relatives usually got shoved. My grip tightened on the gift box. Through the crowd, I spotted them, Mom, Dad, and my brother Jason at the prime head table, elevated like royalty, their wine glasses shimmering like crowns. Laura, Jason's wife, placed a hand on her gently swelling belly, chuckling at one of Dad's jokes. The hostess cleared her throat. "Need me to escort you?" "I know the way," I replied, my voice steady from years of handling tense boardroom negotiations. Table 12 hunkered by the swinging doors, unstable on its legs. A couple of second cousins I'd last seen at a holiday gathering barely looked up from their screens as I sat. The table teetered when I set down my water. Dad stood to speak, his voice booming with the authority that had built his construction empire over 3 decades. "I want to thank the people who mean the most for being here." His eyes swept the room, skipping my dim corner like I was invisible. Someone clinked a fork on glass. "Let's hear from the kids. Emily, say a few words about your dad." Before I could rise, Mom's voice sliced through. "Speaking of family, wouldn't it be wonderful if Emily gifted her lakeside house to Jason and Laura for their anniversary? That sun porch would be an ideal nursery." The room froze. 70 pairs of eyes turned to me, even the servers pausing with trays of foie gras mid-stride. My hand shook faintly as I raised my glass. Memories flooded in, grinding through 80-hour weeks, crashing on a couch to scrape together the down payment. The solo triumph of closing on that property. "My attendance tonight is gift enough," I said, cool and clear as the lake behind my home. That house represents years of my sweat and sacrifice. It deserves respect. Jason stared at his plate. Laura's cheeks flushed crimson. Mom's knuckles went white around her stemware. I stood deliberately, leaving the walnut case on the wobbly table, likely destined for some thrift store. Like the antique maps from last year's holidays. Whispers followed me out like rustling leaves. The valet fumbled for my keys, but I was already striding to my car. Each heel click on the asphalt felt like a quiet rebellion. In the driver's seat, I gripped the wheel, breathing deep until the restaurant's lights faded in the mirror. This wasn't goodbye forever. No, this was the start of something they never anticipated. What would you do? Cut ties or craft a reckoning they'd never forget? For me, it went beyond a house. It was about reclaiming what was mine. And they were about to feel the full weight of that. I drove straight to the lake. 3 days later, back at my place. The water shimmered dark under the moon, waves lapping rhythmically against the dock, a sound that should calm, but only echoed my racing heart. 6 voicemails glowed on my phone, all from Mom. I deleted the first 5 without listening, but the 6th stopped me cold. "You live alone with those cats. Her voice hissed through the speaker. That house was built for a real family. You owe us more than you realize. My fingers trembled as I hit delete. Sterling. My gray tabby. Brushed my leg, purring softly against the echo of her words filtering through the picture windows. Minnesota fall turned the oaks ablaze in reds and golds. My oaks. My windows. My sanctuary. The doorbell rang. A delivery guy thrust forward a bouquet of white lilies. All business. As I signed. The card peeked from the petals. You humiliated us. Dad. Lilies, he knew I was allergic. My eyes watered before I could dump them in the bin. The phone rang again. Not Mom this time, a local realtor I didn't know. Voicemail, MS. Carter. Confirming the appraisal Tuesday at your lakeside property. Your father listed as co-owner. So we'll need both signatures. Cold dread spread through me. I yanked open the key drawer, empty where the spare should be. Last family brunch replayed, Dad accidentally grabbing my bag to the car. Returning it later with a pat on the head. Laptop fired up. I navigated to the county record site. Property ID etched in my memory. Scrolls of documents until there. Forged deed changes from 2 weeks back. A signature that wasn't mine. They've been scheming this for months, I whispered to the empty room. Sterling had butted my chin. As if agreeing to the stab of betrayal. I dialed my attorney and set a meeting for dawn. The next day, Mr. Hargrove's office smelled of aged leather and coffee. Afternoon light gleamed on his salt and pepper hair as he pored over the papers. Frowning, then widening his eyes. Emily, he said. Setting down the last sheet. Your name's still on your parents' deed. You never transferred it after bailing them out in the '09 crash. The gut punch returned, draining my retirement fund. That hollow ache as savings vanished into a check that vanished the foreclosure threat. Mom's grateful tears. Dad's solemn promise to fix the paperwork. Did they ever thank you? Hargrove asked softly, reading my face. Tears burned hot. They acted like it never happened. We scheduled follow-ups and mapped out steps. On the drive to work. My phone buzzed, Jason's text, Mom's wrecked. Dad's pissed. Fix this, or you're out of the family. Before I could reply, Laura called. Her tone sweet poison. We've chosen the nursery shades for your sun porch. Perfect light for the baby, you wouldn't deny your niece that. Right? A warning text from a church friend. They're spreading that you promised them the house ages ago. Richard showed old emails at the men's group. Tongues are wagging. 20 minutes later. My office door shut with a thud. Client portfolios loomed. The Thompson estate plan due Thursday. The Ramirez investments Friday. 15 years of building my financial advising firm on reputation alone, one family scandal could torpedo it. That evening, the lake darkened under twilight. A loon's cry pierced the air. Lonely and raw. Barefoot on the dock. Boards firm beneath me. I murmured. I've been their fallback forever. Behind me, the house glowed. Sterling and onyx curled in the window like sentinels of my hard-won world. Have you ever unearthed that the ones meant to protect you were scheming in the shadows? The proof was just the beginning. Unraveling threads that would reshape everything. A week on. My knuckles bleached white on the wheel as I pulled onto Lakeside Lane. 3 cars jammed my driveway. Dad's Cadillac. Mom's Audi. Jason's Jeep. Late sun glared off the glass, stinging my eyes. I parked curbside, pulse thundering. Through the rearview. Mrs. Thompson's curtains fluttered, great. An audience for the Carter family circus. Doors swung open in unison. Mom charged across the lawn. Her bob windswept. Dad waved an envelope like a weapon. Jason lingered by his ride. Arms folded. You're ripping us apart over bricks and mortar, Mom's voice boomed, echoing through the neighborhood. Your brother needs a family home for the kid. A bitter laugh escaped me. And my place fixes Jason's messes again. This is duty, Dad snarled, shoving the envelope. Sign these transfers in a week. The hydrangeas I'd nurtured for years swayed, petals drifting. Across the street, the Ramirezes paused their yard work to gawk. Mrs. Thompson's door creaked. No, I said. Quiet, but ironclad. What? Mom's pitch spiked. I said no. I shouldered my briefcase, sidestepping them to the door. And you're trespassing. Trespassing? We're blood. Dad's face purpled. Blood that thinks they can forge my deed. The key turned smoothly. All through lawyers now. Get off my property. This ain't done, Jason growled from the drive. I bolted the door on their shouts. Hands quaking, but mind sharp. In my study, I opened the file I'd compiled, bank trails, tax docs, loans, a chronicle of deceit spanning 2 decades. First up, Jason's loan app using my address as collateral. Then more. Escalating sums. Emails between Mom and Dad plotting to resolve Jason's debts with Emily's asset. Photos tumbled out, my undergrad ceremony buried behind Jason's failed startup launches. My MBA overshadowed by his wedding blowout. A lifetime pattern in faded prints. Tears hit unbidden, soaking the desk. I'd armored myself with ledgers and deals, convincing myself approval didn't matter. Now the facade cracked. An hour later, phone buzzed. Rebecca from book club. Lunch tomorrow? Don't face this solo. Thomas from IT. Heard the mess. I do home security side gigs, let me fortify. Voicemail from Laura's cousin. Tense. They don't know I'm reaching out. But Jason's gambling's bad. Debts pile high. I leaned back, staring upward. Isolation had seemed like strength. Now support streamed in like fractured light. Morning brought me to the downtown Minneapolis firm. Heels echoing on marble. 5 lawyers around a gleaming table. Docs like war maps. MS. Carter, lead counsel Elena Vasquez said, sliding a chair. We've dug deep. Look here. The page screamed. Original deed, unrecorded post. 2009 bailout. You own both homes outright, she explained. The gravity sank in. Options. Her grin was predatory. How far do you want to push? That night on the dock. Sunset bled orange into the lake. Ducks rippled the water. Waves reaching shore. Messages poured in. Friends with ears. Advice. Crash pads. Family wasn't just DNA anymore. Security crew arrived at first light. Wiring cams. Swapping locks. I emailed my lawyer. Proceed full throttle. The lake glittered like jewels ahead. Storms brewed cityward. I'd been the family anchor. Steady while they drifted. But anchors hold ground, letting tempests rage harmlessly. The footage rolled in monochrome on my screen. Mom slipped in with a spare key at 2:17 p.m. Tuesday. Dad trailing with a camera. They toured like house hunters. Snapping pics. Measuring. Plotting silently. Laura joined at 2:36. Hand on belly. Fingering my granite counters. Photographing the sun porch, my morning coffee spot. Alive with birds. I froze the frame. Gut twisting. They sized up my nursery while I slaved at work. Thomas leaned in. For intrusions last month. More. Enough, I snapped. I rang Hargrove. Got directives. Then headed to the estate specialist. 2 hours on. Gloria Vasquez, Elena's kin in family law, pored over evidence in her sunlit office. Crystal clear, she said. Voice honed by 40 years. Restraining order files today. They invaded to scheme a theft. I signed. Hand steady now. File it. Locksmith drilled at dusk. Drowning Mom's latest voicemail. After everything we've given you. Emily. Her fake quiver. This is betrayal. Delete. Texts from church mediators. relatives with veiled barbs. I muted all. Retreating to my safe, decades of proof. Deeds. Statements, numbers that exposed lies. Dawn. I emailed kin, for my sanity. Sharing family finances facts. Attachments verify. Read openly. Hesitation. Then attach, for 01k drain for their 09 save. Mortgage covers during dad's layoffs. Jason's hidden gambling payoffs. Final. Footage of their home invasions. Send. By noon. Replies, Aunt Louise shocked. No clue on the bailout. Cousin Mike, this flips the script. Uncle Ted. Jason's booster, why hide this? Laura burst into my office at 3. Mascara streaked. You're shattering us. I didn't glance up. Security slipped. Jason confessed the bets. The holes. I'm sorry. Emily. Clueless. Our eyes met. But you plotted my sun porch takeover. She fled wordless. Phone lit with voicemails, pastor on parental honor. Dad phoning my boss. Mom staking my cafe. I drove lakeside as gold washed the water. A realtor's SUV idled at parents, the home I rescued. Caroline emerged. Market comps done. List by week's end. List it, I said. Highlight the quirky title history. Transparency. Night on the dock. Stars pricked black. Security hummed. Jason's call to voicemail. Autumn whispered change. This stops, I told the void. On my terms. A loon's laugh echoed. Mocking yet triumphant. 4 days later. The envelope from their lawyers hit my desk at 9 sharp. Dad's counsel pitched a generous deal. Keep my lake house. Drop claims on theirs. Phone vibrated, Jason's 5th call. A knock jarred me. Jason loomed with a yuppie couple. Her nails pristine. Meet the buyers for your place next month. Nursery picked. I eyed him. That old entitlement. Security in 60 seconds. Mom's BP 50. The couple backed off. Grins fading. Jason reddened. You bitch, security, intruders. Suite 412. They bolted. Emails piled. Church please. Dad's pal on big picture, mom's doc on stress ills. Same old guilts. But I felt shifted. Laptop open. Sale docs. New owners. Eviction notice, all airtight. Memory surged, forfeiting college cash for Jason's flop. Futon nights while he squandered. Their plans ignoring my voice. Click sent. Next day. Cams caught the courier at noon. Mom signed shakily. Dad's face cycled shock to fury reading. Their Benz roared in at 12:47. Mom tumbled out. Hair wild, Dad hammered the door. Emily and Carter. Open up. Intercom. House sold. Stuff to storage. 30 days. Can't. Mom wailed. Our home was. Like my savings were mine. My future secure. My achievement untouchable. Each syllable hammered back. Family helps family. Yeah. Dad punched the door. I'll ruin you, job. Name. Richard. Mrs. Ramirez yelled. Back off or cups. But out. Maria. 10 minutes. Sirens flashed. Officer Diaz, neighborhood watch vet, approached. Issue? Mom sobbed on steps. Dad jabbed. She stole. Sold legally, I intercomed. Docs ready. Whispers erupted evening. Kin calls. Club gossip. Church texts. Jason tried raiding the kids' trusts. Lawyer shut it down. Parents toured condos. Agent hinting cozy retirement. Court week later, 15 minutes. Judge Harlan scanned over glasses. MS. Carter's dual ownership clear. Sale legit. Tap. With theft attempts and harassment. No contact granted. Dad sagged. Age showing in his jowls. Mom twisted her bag like worry beads. Heels on marble. I exited solo. October sun warmed, burdens lifted. Laura wept into Jason nearby. But it didn't dim my release. Peace, I thought. A leaf twirling red on steps. Not property war, but liberty fight. They faced eviction from 40 years' nest. Jason schemed anew. Talk lingered. But I drove Lakewood. Untouched. Freedom's price? Beyond measure. Not vengeance, release. Yet liberty brought surprises. And I embraced them all. A year on. I got my full peace. Now. Morning light dances on Lake Minnetonka as I sink into my weathered armchair. Salvaged from a Stillwater flea market. Bay window's frame falls fiery palette along the shore. Coffee steams in a mug-etched boss moves a token from my latest protege. Mia. Phone hums, Mia's check-in. Punctual as ever. MS. Carter. Nailed the raise. Her pride shakes. Used your boundary tip when he pulled the We're family card. I held firm. Call me Emily, I chuckle as Onyx sprawls at my feet. You earned it. Like claiming your space. Pause. Your tales showed me I'm not isolated. Post-call. I wander rooms truly mine. Dining areas now my vertical garden. Sun porch? My command center. Walls of financed homes inserts. Backyard beds flourish where Jason-eyed swings. I mulch squash. Lake laughs drifting, no guilt knots anymore. Dr. Patel calls it space reclamation. Last therapy, no more sorries for your path. You've forged peace. Spot on. It sprouts in solos, gourmet dinners for one. Project sprawling. Jazz at midnight, undisturbed. Echoes hum potential. Not duty. My Fresh Horizons Foundation buzzes, scholarship apps rolling. Candidates mirror young me driven. Ensnared in kin webs choking aspirations. Indoors. A door plaque gleams, Carter Sanctuary. Est. 2021, Legacy of Evolution. Not sacrifice. Afternoon. Book club pals Mia and Alex chop for curry. Swapping hikes and dreams. Mia's Everest base camp delayed for folks, Alex's novel shelved for siblings. Booked that Alaska cruise? Alex asks. I nod. Chest warming. July. First break in ages. Finally splurging on you, Mia ribs. Shoulder nudge. Kitchen scents mingle with chat, no shrinking here. Chosen kin cheers self-growth. Deck dinner. Sunset gilds the lake. To crafting our lives, Alex toasts. Not handed ones. Words ring true. Year back. Solitude equaled guilt. Now. Connection fills voids. Guests gone. Dock walk under stars. Last mail. Card from Laura's kin. Kids snow fort pics. Their trusts locked from Jason. Some ties endure shifts. Parents downsize to a senior community. Dad's health dips. But they adopt solo. Family updates sparse. Boundary respecting. A foundation mentee wrote, you proved self-choice is valid. Gave me wings. Dockside. Waves mirror me, unflinching at joy. Inside. Cat's silhouette twilight. Family, sharing with acceptors. Back in chair. Prepping my wealth workshop. Lake murmurs steady. Victory's quiet assurance. Breath by breath. Choices built this, mine wholly. Peace trumps any claim. Some label selfish, I say thrive. Evolve. Authentic. Wasn't the house, honoring that inner enough? Boundaries, bases for realist existence. Stars blaze over Minnetonka as night deepens. Tomorrow's hurdles. Stands. Tonight. Here, peaceful. Home. Free at last.